Why is it that people often don't seem to need faith when things are going smoothly? Instead, it's only in adversity, when facing pain and hardship, that they seem to think about this issue.
This just shows the corruption of human nature. When things are going well, people often turn away from God. They don't know how to be grateful. But in adversity, they realize they are powerless. He has no choice but to rely on something, to depend on something, which also means there isn't true humility within him. The humility we talk about is different from worldly humility. Worldly humility is just for show, something you can brag about. For example, Giazi, if someone says you did a great job, that you're outstanding, you might say, "Oh, I don't deserve it, it's nothing." But deep down, you already feel you deserve it, right? That's what it means. The humility we're talking about, first of all, is recognizing that all our gifts, including our bodies, our relatively good health, and so on, our wisdom, our talents, and our abilities, along with our wealth, our families, and our children, everything we possess is given by God. It is His grace. It is not something that was simply given for nothing. So what should we do? We truly ought to be grateful. We should all be grateful, everyone. You should humble yourself because these things are not the results of your own efforts or achievements. Yes, it's all God's grace. Some things may seem like they're achieved through your own hard work, but even your ability to work hard was placed in you by God from the very beginning. If you use your wisdom to create or accomplish something, that wisdom too was put in you by God from the start. Everything is great. So first, we should be grateful. The first thing to learn about humility, and the greatest form of humility, is to recognize the reason for God's salvation. Why does salvation exist? It's because our nature is corrupted and we cannot save ourselves. We are completely fallen and unable to rely on ourselves. That's why we need salvation. Only when you realize your utter powerlessness in the face of sin, that you are helpless and worthless before God, after you have gone through many experiences, you will truly realize that you are nothing, that you have nothing to boast about. Only then can you genuinely develop a humble attitude. And for what purpose is this? To rely on God, to rely on His grace, or to rely on His love, to rely on His life, to rely on His provision, and to rely on the everlasting abundance and joy He provides in heaven. And to rely on the relationships there, which are truly wonderful, like brothers and sisters with nothing else. No betrayal, no jealousy, only overflowing love. When there is selfless love, you will realize that place is truly amazing. Wealth is inexhaustible and never runs out, and the scenery is just so beautiful. In heaven, you transcend the secular world, and you won't be so attached to this present life. Only then can you overcome with such great grace. Only then will you have the strength to overcome the sins that bind you within yourself. So the practice of humility is truly a very essential lesson within our spiritual faith. And it might even be the most important lesson, in my opinion. Just like Moses, there's a passage in the Bible about this. It records that Moses was the most humble man on earth, but even he, in the end, stumbled because of a tiny bit of pride. So humility truly is a lifelong lesson. It's a matter of our hearts.
That's why there's a pastor who once said that for Christians, the path is like climbing a ladder to heaven. If you don't keep striving upward, you might end up falling down into the abyss. Is that appropriate?
It's appropriate if you don't stop or go backward, right? But all the work is also guided by God, and we are cultivated by God as well. So first and foremost, we must admit that we have no ability of our own. We must rely completely on Him. He is the source of our strength. That is truly the most beautiful state, okay?